The West Philippine Sea, a vast expanse of blue stretching beyond the horizon, has become a theater of mounting tension and uncertainty. Once a symbol of abundance and peace for generations of Filipinos, these waters are now at the center of a high-stakes geopolitical struggle. In recent years, China has dramatically escalated its presence in the region, employing what experts call gray zone tactics, actions that are aggressive and coercive, yet carefully calibrated to avoid outright war. These maneuvers are designed to assert China's expansive claims over nearly the entire South China Sea, including areas internationally recognized as part of the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. By operating in this legal and diplomatic gray area, China seeks to change the status quo without triggering a full-scale military conflict. The strategy is clear: maintain a constant, menacing presence to intimidate and pressure smaller nations like the Philippines into submission. Chinese Coast Guard ships, often much larger and more heavily armed, shadow and harass Philippine vessels, creating a climate of fear and uncertainty on the open sea. Massive fleets of Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels swarm contested areas, blocking access to traditional fishing grounds and intimidating local fishermen. These coordinated actions are not isolated incidents, but part of a sustained campaign to assert control over the region. The goal is to make it increasingly difficult, if not impossible, for the Philippines to exercise its sovereign rights in its own waters. Filipino fishermen, who have relied on these seas for their livelihoods for generations, are routinely turned away, their boats blocked by imposing Chinese patrols. This relentless pressure creates a perpetual crisis, fostering a sense of helplessness and frustration among Filipinos. Entire coastal communities are left in limbo, uncertain if they will be able to provide for their families or if their way of life will soon disappear. The West Philippine Sea is not just a strategic waterway, it is a lifeline rich in fish, oil, and natural gas. These resources are crucial for the Philippines' food security, energy independence, and economic future. By denying access to these vital resources, China undermines the Philippines' economic development and threatens the stability of entire communities. Fishermen return to port empty-handed, docks grow quiet, and the ripple effects are felt throughout the nation. This is more than a territorial dispute. It is a direct assault on the well-being and dignity of the Filipino people. The uncertainty and anxiety caused by these ongoing confrontations weigh heavily on families and communities along the coast. The psychological toll is immense. Many Filipinos feel powerless in the face of a much larger and more aggressive neighbor, and the constant threat of escalation fosters a sense of inevitability and resignation. But this campaign is not just about territory. It is about control over resources, the right to self-determination, and the defense of national sovereignty. Across the country, Filipinos rally to assert their rights and demand respect for their nation's future. The Philippines now faces a daunting challenge, standing up to a larger, more powerful neighbor determined to rewrite the rules of the sea. Each standoff at sea is a test of resolve, a struggle to defend what is rightfully theirs. For many Filipinos, the situation is a daily struggle, a fight not just for territory but for their livelihoods, their identity, and the future of the nation. As the sun rises over the West Philippine Sea, the hope remains that justice and sovereignty will ultimately prevail. In the vast expanse of the West Philippine Sea, a silent but intense struggle unfolds every day. This region, rich in resources and strategic value, has become the stage for a modern maritime standoff that captures the world's attention. Here, Philippine and Chinese vessels find themselves locked in a David and Goliath scenario, where the balance of power is starkly uneven. The Philippine ships, representing a much smaller nation, must constantly navigate the overwhelming presence of their Chinese counterparts. China's Coast Guard ships are not just large, they are behemoths, often converted from former naval frigates. These vessels are equipped with advanced technology and are specifically designed to project power and intimidate any opposition. Their sheer size and firepower send a clear message: China is prepared to assert its claims by any means necessary. In stark contrast, the Philippine fleet is made up of much smaller ships such as the BRP Teresa Magbanua. These vessels, while modern and capable, are dwarfed by the Chinese ships. The size difference is not just a matter of appearance, it translates into real tactical disadvantages during confrontations at sea. The risk of collision is ever present, and Chinese crews have been known to exploit this danger. By maneuvering aggressively, they force Philippine vessels into precarious situations, sometimes coming within meters of a disastrous impact. Chinese tactics often involve using their superior mass to physically block, shoulder, or even ram Philippine ships. These maneuvers are calculated to intimidate and to assert dominance without crossing the threshold into open warfare. High-pressure water cannons are another weapon in China's arsenal. These powerful streams can shatter glass, damage equipment, and even injure crew members, turning routine resupply missions into dangerous ordeals for the Philippine side. Despite these risks, the Philippines continues to send small, often defenseless boats to resupply their outposts. These missions are vital for maintaining a presence in contested waters, but the crews know they are vulnerable to harassment and attack. China frames these encounters as routine law enforcement, maintaining plausible deniability on the international stage. By using Coast Guard ships instead of naval warships, they blur the line between civilian and military action, complicating any response. The overwhelming size and presence of Chinese ships serve as a constant reminder of their power. Through sheer brute force, they enforce their claims and deter any challenge, making it clear who dominates these waters. For the Philippines, this means facing military-level intimidation from what is officially labeled a civilian agency. The psychological impact on the crews cannot be underestimated. They operate under constant threat, knowing that any misstep could escalate the situation. This ongoing confrontation is a textbook example of gray zone conflict, where actions fall short of open warfare but are designed to achieve strategic goals through intimidation, coercion, and ambiguity. In the West Philippine Sea, the battle for control is fought not just with ships, but with nerves, resolve, and the will to stand firm. The Philippines is modernizing its Coast Guard to counter China's aggression. Strategic partnerships with France, Japan, and the US are crucial. France provides large patrol vessels, enhancing long-range patrol capabilities. Japan's support includes multi-role response vessels, bolstering the fleet. The US offers training, intelligence, and maintenance support. This multi-pronged approach strengthens the Philippine Coast Guard. The goal is a robust maritime force to stand its ground. The modernization effort is a strategic investment in national security. New vessels for the Philippines are equipped with advanced technology. French ships feature modern radar and surveillance systems for sovereignty patrols. These acquisitions boost domestic economic growth and technological advancement. Japanese vessels like the BRP Teresa Magbanua are versatile and long endurance. They feature helicopter decks and advanced communications for coordination. The purpose is to protect maritime territory and resources. New ships can patrol the exclusive economic zone and escort fishermen. They represent a commitment to uphold sovereign rights. The Philippines is investing in its marine environment stewardship. The Philippines' actions in the West Philippine Sea are firmly anchored in international law, reflecting a commitment to peaceful resolution and respect for global norms. For years, Filipino vessels have patrolled these contested waters, upholding the nation's sovereignty and ensuring the safety of its people. The international community has watched closely as the Philippines has consistently chosen diplomacy and legal avenues over confrontation, setting an example for other nations facing similar disputes. In 2016, a landmark decision was made. The arbitral tribunal at The Hague delivered a historic award that invalidated China's sweeping 9-line claim over the South China Sea. This ruling was not just a legal technicality, it was a clear statement that excessive maritime claims have no place in modern international law. The tribunal's decision was based on the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, to which both the Philippines and China are signatories. The ruling affirmed without ambiguity the Philippines' sovereign rights within its exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. This means the Philippines has the exclusive right to fish, explore, and utilize resources within these waters. Rights that are vital for the livelihood of millions of Filipinos, especially coastal communities and fishermen who depend on the sea for their daily sustenance. Despite this clear and binding decision, China has refused to accept the ruling. Instead, it continues to assert its claims through aggressive actions, deploying Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels to intimidate and block Filipino ships. These confrontations have raised tensions and put the region's stability at risk. For the Philippines, the 2016 arbitral award serves as a powerful legal shield. It provides a strong foundation for the country's diplomatic efforts and supports its actions in defending its maritime rights. The award is a testament to the power of international law in resolving disputes peacefully. International support for the ruling continues to grow. Many countries and organizations have voiced their backing for the tribunal's decision, recognizing its importance in upholding the rule of law at sea. This growing support is gradually isolating China diplomatically, making it harder for Beijing to justify its actions on the world stage. In this struggle, the law is the Philippines' greatest equalizer. Despite being a smaller nation facing a much larger neighbor, the Philippines stands tall, armed with the legitimacy and authority that international law provides. This legal advantage helps level the playing field in an otherwise uneven contest. The 2016 ruling is more than just a legal victory, it is a triumph for the rule of law and the international order. It sends a message to the world that might does not make right, and that disputes can and should be resolved through legal means, not force. The Philippines' transparent and principled approach has rallied global opinion. From government officials to ordinary citizens, Filipinos have united in support of their nation's rights, inspiring solidarity and respect from the international community. This fight is not just about territory, it is about securing the nation's future and upholding the principles of international law for generations to come. It is about ensuring that the next generation of Filipinos can inherit a country that stands proud and free. The Philippines stands firm, holding both the legal and moral high ground. With unwavering resolve, the nation continues to defend its rights, confident that justice and the world are on its side. Philippine patrols in the West Philippine Sea support and protect citizens. Filipino fishermen rely on these waters for their livelihood. The PCG's presence reassures fishermen of their rights. Patrols enforce laws against illegal fishing and environmental damage. China's fleet is the real intruder, creating tension. The Philippines responds transparently and rule-based. Documenting China's actions highlights its bullying tactics. The PCG's patrols are defensive, not provocative. The mission is to protect sovereignty and uphold the law. On August 11, 2025, China's aggression was evident during a resupply mission. Chinese vessels used perilous maneuvers and water cannons against Philippine boats. The international community swiftly condemned China's actions. The U.S. reaffirmed its defense commitments to the Philippines. Global support isolates China and highlights its aggression. The Philippines' strategy of transparency is effective. The incident underscores the global challenge to the rules-based order. The Philippine Coast Guard's mission is rooted in humanitarian and scientific purposes. The PCG is the primary agency for maritime search and rescue. It supports Filipino fishermen with supplies and assistance. The PCG's presence counters China's intimidation. The agency supports scientific research in the West Philippine Sea. Protecting marine biodiversity is a global responsibility. The PCG's mission is about saving lives and preserving the environment. The focus on humanitarian efforts garners international sympathy. The Philippines' presence is for the good of all. The West Philippine Sea dispute is a struggle for the Philippines' future. China's intimidation challenges Philippine sovereignty and economic well-being. The Philippines modernizes its Coast Guard for credible defense. The 2016 Arbitral Award is the nation's legal and moral high ground. Global opinion supports the Philippines' transparent approach. The fight is for the nation's resources and sovereignty. The Philippines stands firm with international law and support. The struggle unites Filipinos in defending their rights. The rule of law must prevail in the West Philippine Sea.